Manifesting my first $100,000 actually took me quite a while. And the funny thing is, once I got to 100,000, super easy to manifest more money. And as I've been learning, this is something that's actually fairly challenging for a lot of people, is getting to that first $100,000. And at least that's the case here in the United States. You know, if you live in another country, I'd love to hear if you have kind of your equivalent to our $100,000 problem here. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about why is it that $100,000 mark is challenging for so many people, and why is it so much easier to make a lot more money after you hit that 100,000. And this is going to be great information for you if you're trying to get to that mark so that you can troubleshoot these particular blocks and get there faster. And if you're already manifesting $100,000 a year or more, please, 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 I would love to hear your thoughts on today's video. And if you have anything to add to the conversation, because I really do feel that everybody should be able to manifest a very decent standard of living for themselves. And so I'd love to see your feedback. And I know that it would be greatly valued by other people who are watching this video. All right, so the first barrier here to the $100,000 question, why this is hard for people to hit the $100,000, is something I haven't heard anyone else talk about. So this is probably very new information to you, at least if you're watching this video and it's, you know, when it's first coming out. It has a lot to do with numerology. Now, in the universe, everything in reality is symbolic. Okay, so we are creating reality through the power of our mind. And what we think is kind of splashed out on the screen in symbols. Okay, and so like the words that I'm using are symbols for vibrational meaning. And so everything in the universe is a symbol. Smile is a symbol, a frown is a symbol, a rainy cloud is a symbol, a trophy is a symbol. All of these things are symbols. They're symbolic representations of a vibrational state in the mind. And so one of these symbols are numbers. And so the study of numerology looks at what does the number mean? What is its vibrational essence? And so the number one, it really represents new beginnings. It represents a start of a new cycle. And so if you think about numbers, we go up to 9 and then we begin again with 1. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 10 is still a 1. Okay, so zeros really always default back to the initial number. So in numerology, you always add digits together. And so 10 is 1 plus 0. It comes back to a 1. And so the same thing applies to 100,000. 1 followed by 5 zeros comes down, is reduced to a 1. It is a new beginning. So if you're looking to hit the next 1, what you're really saying is, I am saying to the universe, I am going to master this cycle, and then I'm going to the next one. Okay, and that's what it really means. I've mastered the last cycle, and now I'm going to the next one. If you still feel like you are somebody who doesn't earn $100,000 or who earns more of a middle income, that's going to be challenging for you, because you're really going to have to have felt the mastery of that before moving on to the 100,000. So for me, this was kind of tricky. Okay, so when I first learned about the law of attraction, I was only making $36,000 a year as a teacher, and I wanted to make $100,000. And so that was my intention. That was my goal. And I managed to double. I got myself to about 80,000, which was like, wow, this is amazing, right? That's double what I was making. But then I got stuck at 80. I couldn't seem to move past it because I was still reaching for $100,000. So when I realized that I was stuck, one of the things that I did was I decided to change the number. Instead of reaching for $100,000, I thought about, I want something with a 2 or with a 5. And I picked 2, like a $200,000 win, because I figured that 2 would be easier for me to believe in than a 5 or a 6 or a 7 or a 9. And I also said I like the idea of a 5 because my life path number is a 5. And a very funny thing happened is that year I went from making $80,000 a year and I sailed right past 100 and I went to $245,000 that year. And so that's my first recommendation to you. If you want to get to $100,000 in income, take the $100,000 out and pick a different number. You may want to consider picking your life path number if it's something other than a 1, or if you have numbers in your numerology that show up pretty frequently that are not 1s. And so there are all kinds of numerology life path calculators out there on the internet. Go ahead and play around with that and pick a different target. Now, you don't have to say 900,000. You don't have to say 500,000. It could be something like a 222,000 or 333,000. Figure out a number that makes sense to you. So many people have that goal, $100,000. And so it is kind of built up within the collective consciousness to be a massive new beginning. And anything that we define as being massive, we also believe is challenging. And remember, through the law of attraction, we want to pick things that feel easier. They feel easier. And funny enough, a number like $245,000 feels easier than 100,000. Why? Because 245 doesn't represent some big, hairy mile marker. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're setting your targets for how you want money to flow through you, either through your job or money falling out of the sky or investments. It doesn't have to be through your work in particular, but just the amount of money that you draw to you year to year. All right, so we're going to move on to the next reason why that 100,000 mark is really challenging for a lot of people and what you can do about it. I do want to quick mention that I do have lots of very unique abundance material in my abundance playlist on YouTube. So if you're liking this advice and you'd like to see some more interesting hacks on how to draw money into your life, please make sure to go ahead and check out that playlist. And of course, I will go ahead and put a link to it below in the description. All right, but for our second reason here, why that 100,000 is really hard for people to get to, but once they get to it, the next is so much easier, has a lot to do with the hype. Again, as I mentioned in the last section, a lot of people have that $100,000 as that next level up. Okay. And so everyone's kind of shouting about the 100,000 or the million, it's that one with all the zeros in front of it. And so there's a lot of hype that surrounds that particular number. And whenever you see hype, okay, with the law of attraction, you want to take a step back. And this is something I've talked about in some of my videos before on other topics, which is that you don't want to fall for the hype. Whenever people collectively start making a big deal about something, they are really focused on limitations. This idea means something. This is the way it has to be. This is a big deal. We need to be scared of this. You always want to be mindful whenever there's a lot of hype about something, because a lot of hype means that the collective, including you, including me, we're holding on to some limitations about that idea. And so because, again, there's a lot of hype around that number, it's a number that's best to be avoided in your targets, okay? Because again, you don't want to feed into the hype. Now, this hype aspect is one of the reasons why it's so much easier once you hit 100,000 to sail on past it, because once you've gone through that target, it's like, oh, wow, I did that. If I can do that, I can do anything. Okay. And so this is why a lot of people, once they hit 100,000, they can sail on past it and attract a lot more money. Okay. So getting to 100,000 took me a long time. Getting to 500,000 didn't take me any time at all. Okay. And so that's something that you want to think about, which is that, once you get over this, if you can find a way to trick yourself by not paying attention to the hype and setting a different target, once you get over the target, there's this big rush that comes behind you energetically because you kind of feel like you mastered something really big because there was a lot of hype around that number. But that being said, in your own mind, you want to try and downplay the hype. Okay, you don't want to feed into the hype and buy into the idea that hitting 6 figures is like the end all be all to your abundance journey, because it's not. It's also not some indication that you somehow mastered life or you're the king of the universe, okay? It's just a number. That's all it is. It's not that big of a deal. And so when you hear lots of people saying that they're trying to hit 100,000 or they're trying to hit 1 million, understand that that is hype around that number. And we don't want to add hype when we're trying to manifest. Hype is resistance. Hype is stress. Hype is anxiety. Hype is limitation. Okay, so the things that we feel easy about and relaxed about, those are the things that manifest the quickest. So we don't ever want to feed into the hype with the $100,000. All right, now I have some more information here for you on how to get past that $100,000, mind issue that a lot of people have, so you can start attracting as much money as you want. But first, if you like law of attraction videos that teach you how to manifest the life of your dreams, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And of course, go ahead and turn on the little notification bell so that you are notified every time I release a new video. I put out content like this every single week, and I know you're going to love it. All right, so for our next reason why getting to that $100,000 is often very challenging for people, and then once they get to it, very easy to attract more. It again kind of ties back into the idea of symbolism. But now, instead of the symbolism of the number, really the symbolism of the status, okay? And so when we think of people who are 6-figure earners, there's a particular image that comes to mind. Now, this doesn't mean that everybody who makes $100,000 or more fits a particular mold, or that they even have to fit a particular mold, because we don't want to limit you into having to be one particular way. However, it is very helpful to understand what that 6-figure plus status represents to us collectively, because we want to make sure that we're putting that out there personally so that that matches up in our lives. One very fun little experiment that you might want to run that kind of pokes fun at yours truly is to go back and look at some of my earliest YouTube videos. Okay, so these are videos from, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago. And you're going to see that the image of me looks a lot different. I'm the same person, but I'm not as polished. I dressed kind of sloppy. I dressed really like, casual, and I had more of a casual attitude about me. And there's nothing wrong with casual, okay? But if you do this little experiment, you're going to notice that the image of me then looks like somebody who wasn't making more than $80,000, okay? Whereas the image of me today looks like I make more than $100,000. Okay, now that is by design on my part. And it's actually one of the easiest things that you can do to attract more money is to start to exude, put out the image of being that kind of person. Now, for me, this was kind of a struggle because I've always really believed in my individuality. Again, I'm a life path number 5. So if you know anything about numerology, you know that that's someone who really likes their freedom, and they don't like being told how to dress, and they don't like being told what to do. Okay, but once I figured this out, I realized it was really in my best interest to work at cultivating more of an image that was in alignment with being a 6-figure plus earner. Okay. And this is one of the easiest things that you can do to align symbolically with that higher level of income. And if you are interested in getting some ongoing training to help you step into the life that you really want, I would also really love to invite you to take a look into my membership program. I have a Law of Attraction membership website where I have all kinds of premium content that I do not put on YouTube. I have over 250 resources that are immediately available to you, including videos, audio tutorials, guided meditations, all kinds of great stuff, on all kinds of topics, including, yes, abundance. And so if you would like to check out that and take a look at all that the membership platform has to offer, and if it's a good fit for you, I will go ahead and put a link below in the description to that so you can take a look. Additionally, if you are new to my work here, I would love to invite you to take my Law of Attraction test. If you want to know for sure that you really are the creator of your reality, I've designed a very simple, very quick 5-minute test where you can prove it to yourself. Put something out and watch it come back. And to take that free test now, please just go to manifestingtest.com. Again, that is manifestingtest.com. It's totally free. You can take it right now. And of course, I'll also go ahead and put the link below in the description for you. Thanks so much for watching today's video on how manifesting that first $100,000 may be hard, but once you get it, it's so easy to go past it. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. And of course, I look forward to bringing you another one soon. Bye-bye.